distinctive smoke trailing away from behind the PC-9 as Shane puts it in a right-hand turn. And just tell us a little bit about the technical detail of this aircraft, Alan.
And Flight Centre Row is now pulling up approximately 4G at the bottom of that for a vertical roll and stall turn over the top.
Really see that distinctive red and white livery made famous by the roulettes there as Shane brings it back up to the vertical again. Of course, this aircraft, a fantastic air.
The aircraft we see today is identical in every way to what we train our pilots on the pilots course over at RAF Base Pearce in Western Australia.
So there you go, kids. If you're lucky enough to get accepted, this is exactly the sort of aircraft you'll begin your ADF flying career in.
Closely there, Flight Centre Row has the aircraft banked to the left and under negative G is turning the aircraft to the right to reposition for his next manoeuvre.
Looks quite...
Shane's now turning left in a max rate turn. At the moment he's experiencing around 4G and just demonstrating the agility of the latest PC-9.
4G, and he could continue, the aircraft can pull 4G quite easily in a circle like this?
Absolutely, with the power set he shouldn't have any problem continuing that.
So you see maintaining a level altitude there, ladies and gentlemen, very steep angle of bank, very manoeuvrable aircraft, and a great show being put on by Shane today. Shane, just about the most experienced PC-9 driver in the Royal Australian Air Force. There might be one or two more who claim he's had more than one go at being a roulette.
Can't seem to get rid of it.
The PC-9, of course, putting on quite a different show to some of those high-performance, unlimited aerobatic aircraft we saw before. Those are specifically designed to be doing aerobatics. As Alistair told you before, this aircraft is actually a training aircraft. It has a secondary role, of course, in aerobatics, but doing a fabulous job and really carving out a graceful display for us today. And the final approach, final manoeuvre rather, and mention just one more thing, these aircraft are also used for work with the fighters up at Williamtown. In the, what role have they got up there, Alistair?
They're part of the quality control, and I think we should be seeing them displaying pretty shortly.
Control, so
now for tight box formation. Dash 2 and 3, Dave Piglet-Hannaford and Chris Campbell-Camille maintaining their heads just 5 feet from lead's wingtips, and Joel Steady-Stitt as Dash 4 in the slot. You'll see the condensation from their wingtips, called wingtip streamers. Slowing and deploying gear, half flap, extending, refueling probes and dropping the arrestor hook. Cameras at the ready for the 4-ship configured pass. first.
C-130 pilot. To your right, the C-130 from number 37 Squadron, a high speed inbound to your right. This is your Royal Australian Air Force heavy lift.
Thanks, Peter. And that aircraft very close to my heart, the C-130H there, around 300 knots, 200 feet piloted today.
Gary, you mentioned the H&J. You look at the Hercules, very hard to tell the difference. I mean, the airframe has a jet squadron and aircraft capability.
Okay, folks, if you look to the right now, what we're going to see is a full stop landing. That is, Derek's going to bring the aircraft to a stop on the crowd. He's going to use reverse thrust from those engines and back up. Let's see what happens. Okay, bringing it to a stop now. You see the rear of the aircraft, the ramp area has been lowered. You'll see a set of guys coming in to assist in holding the perimeter, so more ADF assets, more coalition assets supporting the area. And of course, as we see these vehicles coming up, they're not buildings, but they need to build them, absolutely trees, whatever it could be. And of course, as you watch this take off, you see it go quite steeply. And Derek will hold the aircraft on the ground for some time.
The throttles are now being opened on the C-130. So fast was he travelling when he left the runway?
Probably about 130, and you can see those external fuel tanks we were talking about between the engines. And what we're going to see now, we've talked about inserting troops into a landing zone. Of course, the other means of delivery for a C-130 is aerial delivery, airdrop, come back from the left, and we'd like you to have a look as he does so. At the rear of the aircraft, you'll see the paratroop doors, the para doors open. You'll see 64 troops per aircraft. Of course, you know, a 10 ship of one of these, 10 aircraft delivering, well, up to 400 or 500 troops plus equipment onto the ground, Peter.
And for photographers, it's a fair comment. I feel that the wing loading, beautifully displayed here against the backdrop of grey cloud, is very clear. This magnificent full wingspan of this aircraft that has enormous wing.
All 132 feet peak, and if we look closely, we might even see the loadmasters giving us away from those rear para doors. So climbing away again, and as you said, Peter, the
Angus Houston was a former C-130 pilot. He came up through the pilot program just like hundreds of pilots have before him and since him, and risen to the heights of leading the Australian Defence Force. So in Air Chief Marshal Angus Houston, who is currently leading Air Force, Army. Now the C-130 has almost completed that term, and we're just looking for its arrival from the south.
Indeed, Peter, and you can see its pitch over there, a very steep approach. This is known as the Kaysan approach. We talked about getting the aircraft away from the ground quickly before, and this is designed to bring the aircraft to the ground quickly at a nice steep angle away from any ground threats. And Derek will just level it off there. He'll do a run along the runway, won't be touching down, and positioning for a steep turn, just to show us the turn capability of this aircraft. 56 engines. He'll be repositioning for one more pass.
Distinctive, almost soft but guttural note. The Australian Defence Force heavy lift capability, C-130s, complemented of course by the C-17 Global. Have given the early indicators by their intelligence gathering, clearing the way for the Black Hawks and the troop insertion.
Copper, ready update.
Cobra, Dagger 1-0, troops in contact. Western side of the runway. Friendly troops occupying the eastern side. Request immediate attack.
Tally target.
Cobra 1 and 2, clear hot.
Cobra 3 and 4 from the south, in hot, in.
Dagger 1-0, request extraction, threat neutralised.
Remain well clear of any possible threat. Black Hawk 6 Aviation in for the troop pickup.
Of new aircraft purchases, narrow bodies will account for 70%.
Ladies and gentlemen, because of this demonstration will be just as impressive as Major Briggs shows you what America's F-16 Fighting Falcon Fighting Falcon. Ladies and gentlemen, from your left, Major Briggs in a triple aileron roll. Kilograms. In the fall 363 turn, the F-16 has a turn radius of less than 450 meters. Accelerating climb and apply full augmentation, demonstrating remarkable power and the muscle of the General Electric F-110-129 engine. Ladies and gentlemen, the General Electric F-110-129 engine produces over... Major Briggs and West Pacific Air Force's F-16 demonstration team from a third to the downward leg of the landing pattern.
around the ground. We know that does present some level of difficulty, particularly where it's wet underfoot, but if you can do the job to the best of your ability, that will also be appreciated. Randolph Aviation sunglasses currently supply the United States Air Force, as we were just talking about then.
Ladies and gentlemen, as we watch the Super Constellation take off and turn for fantastic engines once again. Contemplating going to England, or perhaps the United aircraft was one, or the type was one of, I think, about 15 or 20 that Qantas had at the time, traversing the world, making it the first round the world flying service from Australia.
Yes, that's correct. It was the total of the Kangaroo route. The aircraft, Qantas introduced the world's first around-the-world passenger service with the Super Connie. And yes, you're right, it was quite a part of that. It used to be 6 weeks by ship, and all of a sudden it became 4 days, because airlines generally around the world introduced a tourist cabin, which we know as economy travel today, with this aircraft, allowing for the first time affordable intercontinental air travel for the general public.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, the Super Connie is coming in from the north side, which is the right course, and as you see it go by, just appreciate the graceful lines of the Constellation. It's almost, to me, like it has been sculptured rather than manufactured. And if we compare this aircraft to the likes of the Boeings or Airbuses that we know today, this is just a graceful lady of the skies.
To that of a fighter. it slows to greater than 30 degrees angle of attack and about 175 kilometres per hour for this slow speed. Slow speed pass. Cargo now accelerates to the 800 plus kilometres per hour for a high-pitch photo pass. From left to right. Slow approach, watch carefully. This is quite amazing for an aircraft with such power and capability. Jetstar movement coming up in 1 or 2 moments, followed by the United States Airport.
Ladies and gentlemen, pilot for today's demonstration to follow. Captain Grant House, Tim Wright, Below Master Technical Sergeant Kevin Clement, so environmentally friendly.
Tomorrow will graduate to 723 Squadron, be brought into the world of naval tactics, anti-submarine warfare, progressing later on to the Seahawk aircraft.
And while we're watching the two squirrels, the dancing squirrels, I'd love to call it Navy operations. What they're all about. Most of the Australian Defence Force warships have at least one, possibly two aircraft based on them, and they're used for a multiplicity of purposes. This is supposed to lead in training exercise, gearing up crew to be able to fly those heavier and bigger aircraft at a later time.
Adam and Cliff not alone today. Both these aircraft are crewed by 2 people.
Helicopters are the military version of the sparking up squirrels in use around Australia, the media, and some news events and photographers. Gary, I believe one of the crew members, one of the pilots of these helicopters, had previously put in some civilians on as he would say, sort of prevent life for something on the name.
Indeed, David. The Lieutenant Commander has
With a nod there, hi folks, we've got a group show. Hey, what's away? Give them away, please.
thanks to the type bands, as they like to be called, of 723 Squadron, HMAS Albatross. Now to a loop on the line, let's listen to the roar of those engines. Flying there. It was the solo demonstration in between repositioning passes from the other three team members. And the Harvard or Texan, David, a famous aircraft for...
New Zealand and South Africa were the two last air forces to have the T6 or Harvard, as you say, in service until a little more than just over 10 years ago. And Scott Taylor is a new member of the team, and it's interesting to note that the four aircraft formation that we're watching at the present time is
lead aircraft in today's formation, played by the local identity, certainly the local area identity, Dougie Hamilton, quite a famous aviator in his own right today.
Yes, Doug's from North Victoria and a key aircraft enthusiast, pilot, owner, farmer. He, of course, joined
The Pacific and Europe conflict. We're going to see, if we look to the right now, the Snake Loop. These aircraft will follow each other around in a big loop. This is a hard maneuver. Let's watch the sunrise. Really beautiful loop there, guys.
Your commentary in just 1 or 2 moments, but firstly from the left, a high-speed run by the F-111. The magnificent T.
Radius turn coming up.
terms like pave tack and terrain following radar that kept the aircraft in all weather 200 feet off the ground, in fact 100 feet off the ground at supersonic speed, was considered beyond space-age technology. The aircraft soon proved itself after an initial period of, well, getting over a few hurdles to get the technology dead right, but then ultimately it made its mark globally. Not only the F-111, the aircraft that took us beyond 2000. Delivered in 1973, we are watching its final performance. Inbound to your left. Wings forward.
Dairy pitch into the...
Okay folks, get those cameras ready. I can see the power coming up. We're going to get this overshoot. Explosion as the engines came to life, and then all of a sudden just this rattling and vibration as we were taking us madly as we climbed into the air, and I felt the boom from the engine. It was a terrific sight. It's one that I'll certainly always remember. Was it a moment of solitude within yourself, or was it something visually you could share with others and look into the eyes of your co-onboard members? You know, I've done exactly what you just said. As we climbed up through the upper atmosphere after we passed the more dangerous regions of the flight, where we know it's safe, I have actually possibly be anyone doing anything more extraordinary at that particular moment than what we were doing right then. Well, let's talk about your extraordinary role. You're 4 times into space. What were your primary missions on the first occasion and the missions that followed? That's right, 4 missions. The first mission was a land flight because it was about a 10-day mission. We launched a couple of satellites as well. My next flight was somewhat more ambitious. That was a flight to the Russian Mir space station, and that was preceded by 12 months of training in Russia, essentially to become a cosmonaut. And once I completed
the construction of the space station, which is in orbit right now, it's an ongoing project. I've helped develop the collaboration that we have with the Russians to fly in space. pitch up there. So lots of rudder as he pulled it off the runway. This aircraft has a maximum takeoff weight of around, well, 120,000 kilos, but of course in air show guys, nice and light, around 65,000 kilos, about half its normal weight today. So very impressive rather, as it popped off the runway. What we're going to see now is the other side to it. He's going to configure the aircraft for a slow flyby. So once again, another good photo opportunity. Leaving the gear down and moving away from the great sound, you get great motion, and hopefully you'll get great photos. And as we were saying earlier,
for this final pass.
Our friends from 40 Squadron Burridge that have a wonderful display.
So, from the land of the long white cloud, we thank the squadron and the ground team very much. I know they're listening to us on the ground. We've been getting a bit of feedback because the pilots have been on the line to us saying, we would like to meet air show attendees to sign autographs.
Australia. Fun Flight sees volunteer pilots from aero clubs take seriously ill children, their parents and carers for others, but most of all, it's about the smiles on the faces of the children. Fun Flight is coordinated with the aid of volunteers and works closely with many children's charities, such as the Starlight Children's Foundation.
This week, Australian International Air Show, respected aviation writer Stuart Wilson launched his 59th book at...
Before he came over, as I was saying before, 4-person crew, and in these days of enlightenment, 3 men, 1 woman. Fantastic in that aircraft from Ellsworth Airport.
The folks who died, more than 200 I hate to say. We've got a fantastic parade of the emergency service vehicles that's coming along the front of the flight line now. And all manner of vehicles were used, and both on the front line, and we're seeing not only the fire tankers, but all the support vehicles, as I understand, were used to assist in support of the emergency service.
services on the day or over the weeks of this tragic event. And this gives an opportunity to recognise both the volunteer and the career component of all the...
Very important, not only the full-time firemen who were assisting in those fires, but of course the large number of volunteers also.
To your right, we have inbound, lickety-split, going very quick across the field, the B-1B Lancer. This is its second last pass at 500 knots.
The first one employs two much smaller engines and is barely able to get along. That engine on this aircraft not only able to get along, but also to cruise at about 125 altitude. Let's hear a little music suitable for this flight. And if you look high above you, ladies and gentlemen, and to your right, you will see Bob as he continues to climb toward the base of the clouds above us. And right now, ladies and gentlemen, directly above and in front of you, Bob Carlton in the Vertigo Airshow sailplane. Notice the grace with which he flies, wings flexing under the loads imposed at 140 to 160 knots. Sleep Salto sailplane. Bob enters act. Now it's 42 feet of wing that he's flying through the air, but in a high-performance jet routine. Describing a giant figure eight lying on its side. That's the Octo Cubano, the Cuban Eight, or the hockey team from Hawaii. To high speeds. Once again, the engine manufactured by PBS Veskapitish from the Czech Republic, the makers of the TJ100 jet engine. PBS has been making military-grade hardware for decades, including the APUs on many Russian fighters. The TJ100 is fully computer-controlled and operated. It weighs 40 pounds and puts out, as I've mentioned before, an incredible 240 pounds of thrust. Bob chasing the jackrabbits out there in the paddock as he whistles by at high speed.
Bomber, 800 feet at 800 knots.
They really...
Wow. Be a true 8 power plant, a little bit lower horsepower, better down low. And the Brits, their favour, the early Mustang airframe.
For the loop along the line. Truly glorious sound, and
Interesting history with this aircraft. Built in 1948 for the Air Force by Commonwealth Aircraft Corporation, and it did little or no time in service before being put into storage. It was sold off. It was used as a civilian aircraft.
Royal Australian Air Force and the greater city of Geelong. Waterfront Geelong is an award-winning redevelopment of the city's harbour precinct and has become a draw card for visitors and locals keen to soak up the restaurants. Those of you who have been here before from overseas, and you have visited Geelong, I know full well that many of you want to go back again. One of the many attractions on the waterfront is the fully restored 19th century Armitage Herschel Carousel. Geelong's famous bollards punctuate the scenic walk along Corio Bay. Final landing by the B-1.
Accumulated in the Go Fast Jetpack International aircraft than all other jetpack pilots combined, which exits the two small nozzles on the back of his pack way up to supersonic speed. That will lift Eric and the jetpack high into the sky, as you'll be able to see. He's actually gone from the top of a 52-story building with the jetpack and made his way down toward the ground, supported How about that, ladies and gentlemen?
Inside of any turn circle, winning the fight. Demonstrating its nose authority over a range of speeds and attitudes. and 20 knots to perform its signature high angle of attack, Cobra Path. To your right, the FA-18 slow speed high alpha path. The F-18 Hornet configured path. Watch now to see the FA-18's impressive thrust during its vertical departure. Weighing in at 28,000 pounds, producing 32,000 pounds of thrust, the Hornet can accelerate straight up. Performance Max Afterburner Circuit. What I become revolutionary.
Absolutely brilliant clinical handling display today of this clinical interdiction frontline fighter. We hope you enjoyed that display and thank you for your attendance today. Principal partners of the Australian International Air Show invite you back tomorrow. Air Show, State Government of Victoria, Greater City of Geelong, Royal Australian Air Force and our major sponsors DB Schenker and Air Services Australia. Also tomorrow the career information session. Anyone who is interested in attending the careers information session, please make your way to the auditorium tomorrow. This is Sunday tomorrow in Hall A of the main exhibition building. The session is due to commence at 10:30. That's the career information session. That will occur prior to the flying display tomorrow. So there we go. Hercules, fastest heavy jet, a jet power fighter and a solo jetpack man, and world-class flying display. Ladies and gentlemen, the FAA being Hornet, taxiing out towards the corner of the public gallery. You give James a wave. Boys and girls, and those of you in the front of the public gallery, do wave. The canopy is up. The